Alright guys, it's Team 3 Star and I'm back with another One Piece Banner Rush video. And in today's video, this is a very special video. This is my 100 sub special. So I just wanted to thank everybody for subbing. I will be doing like a little closing remark towards the end. But in today's video, I got requested by a poll I did on Discord. Should I either do discount Roger counters or a tier list? And by the look of the title, you know what we're gonna do. Some discount 99-cent store counters. And before I begin, obviously I'm not going to be going over like top tier units like Green Mihawk, for example. He's not going to be on this list. But yeah, with that being said, let's go into the first character. And for the first character, I got my boy Kinemon. But before I even say anything, yes, he's a bounty fest. But I consider him discount because a lot of people did some on the Odin banner, and he was guaranteed on the black ticket as well as being featured on the banner. So a lot of people do have their hands on him. But yeah, taking like a Kinemon, like he's actually a really good matchup against Roger. Even either to a standstill or actually beating him. So that's something to note as well. The big thing is, of course, that he, the flame and his counter, if you can land it while Roger's charging, you gotta kind of predict it. It's kind of, I'm gonna be talking like, about counters a lot too in this list. But this list is also not in any particular order, to be completely honest, except for the number one spot. But yeah, just you have your fast skill too to actually do a lot of damage. I've killed a lot of Rogers with it before, even Odin's. And then you have the counter as well. So just top tier stuff. But going on to the second unit is of course Red Law. Red Law is actually like a stupid good character that a lot of people don't give him enough credit for, because I actually don't see him a lot in PvP, or League should I say. But taking a look at this unit, like you have the Stolen Heart effect debuff, which is arguably one of the best next to Venom. Or Poison, Venom / Poison. But his Scalpel skill is super quick. You have to kind of predict it, and then the radius is really huge because if you're in the room, you're gonna get hit by it. And even I've been hit on like the outer edges of it. So it has a lot of range. It does pretty good damage. It heals you 15% and also gives the Stolen Heart debuff. And especially on the traits, when you look at his traits, you get more attack via attacking somebody with Stolen Heart. So if he's Stolen Heart Roger, you're going to be doing more damage. But the main course is of course going to be the Counter Shock. Counter Shock, one of the best, arguably the best counters in the game, which I can agree with. I probably put in like my number 2 spot, Kinemon being first. But it's super quick. It has basically a 360 radius because Law basically turns around if you fail it. So regardless, you're probably going to be hitting it, depending on how the player is playing. But it's a really quick counter. You can reuse it because via trait you get, I believe it's 15% cooldown when you hit the Scalpel, 15 or 20, I don't remember. This is also, the video itself is pre-recorded, so I might be wrong on a couple of stuff. But yeah, you get cooldown via skill 1 when you hit it, so you get more counter. And then with the counter, you can counter Roger's chart skill as well as the Divine Departure, or the skill 1, I believe. I forget what it's called in Japanese. But yeah, you can just counter it. But with that, let's just go on to the next character. And the next character is of course going to be the main boy, Hyou's side hoe, because his main hoe is Mags. But we got Caesar Clown, and Caesar is actually a top tier unit. Even to this day, a lot of people don't give him enough credit because they say that best red defender is always going to be either Blackbeard or a Rouge, since you can constantly heal and just take damage. But the big thing with Caesar is of course the land of nothing skill 1. You can sap Roger's health. Like Roger can't do anything if he doesn't have any health. And at the end of the day, it doesn't even matter, just because since it's not damage, you know, like a basic attack or a skill that does damage, it won't heal him to my knowledge. I'm not entirely too sure, don't quote me on it. But since it's like poison, it's regressively going to be taking health as well as healing you via trait. And also the best part about him as well is the second skill, knockback with the smileys. You can add poison on them, super huge knockback, and it's a really good skill as well. You can bump off Odin from the treasure, since there's a lot of Rogers and Odins, but this is more Roger centered. So sap Roger's HP when you're attacking when he's poisoned, you get your heals, and he's so good. A lot of people just kind of sleep on him, which I don't know why, but he's a very good character. If you nullify crit, if you hit a crit, you put poison on them. You do the skill 1, you're sapping their health. You put skill 2, you're getting poison. If they attack you, 3% to inflict poison. Like, there's gonna be poison going on everywhere. So spamming that skill 1 as much as you can is the biggest thing. Granted, he is really tanky, but the thing is with Roger, since you're gonna be having that buff, the defense buff, he will do more damage to you, so that's something to note. I'm not sure if for this character, but a lot of characters that does apply. So that's something to note as well, but just Caesar's such a good unit. He's so tanky. You can sap Roger's health. It's gonna be GG. Having a max boost to Caesar versus Roger, I will always put my money on Caesar. But with that being said,
going on to the next unit,
we have, of course, my boy Whole Cake Island Sanji. He was actually my first 100 character, so that's a little fun fact about my account. But a lot of people do sleep on him a lot, and I know why. It's his basics. His basics are utter dog crap. Like, the first hit's good, but the second one's really trash, and the third one's super slow. But you can combo cancel really good with the first hit, so it's not too bad, but I see why people hate him as a character. But the main thing, of course, is going to be that skill 1. Having a shit ton of skill 1 reduction, so like a red boa, green law, a war Luffy, or you know, any skill 1 cooldown, you're just going to be chilling. Blue Kid is also a really good metal. But taking a look at it at a skill, very long range charge attack with knockback and a chance to inflict a flame. But the main thing is, of course, your damage dealt is not affected by defense, so it ignores defense, kind of like the CP9's Rokogun, the skill 2. So that's the biggest thing, of course. So it's a really fast skill. Granted, it's a little bit easier to dodge comparing to like Snake Man, for example. But using that skill as much as you can, you're going to be doing a ton of damage. Do the first hit, make him waste his dodge, do the skill 1. And since it has Nullify Stagger, you're fine. Like, the damage is going to be really good. And even for the second skill, this is more for survivability. So say if Roger hits you with the skill 1, you have the heal. You get an attack increase. But once again, like I talked about, I'm going to be sounding like a broken record when I say this, but, well, broken record, I should say. You know, with the buffs that you're going to be having, you're going to be taking more damage. So that's something to note. But yeah, just Whole Cake Sanji. A lot of people have him. They really just sleep on him. They put him on the bench, but he's a top tier character to use. His traits are pretty good. You get a lot of skill 1 cooldown when you don't have treasures or in fighting your enemy treasures. So that's something to note. Just running those medals with hella skill 1 cooldown. Spam that skill as much as you can. You're going to be taking down Rogers left and right. Just kicking them to oblivion, pushing their faces in. And it's just going to be... It's going to be amazing, that's for sure. But yeah, with that being said, let's go on to the next unit. So going on to the next unit, speak of the devil, we are talking about Snake Man. Snake Man is a top tier character, but one of the best arguably one of the best runners / attackers in the game, because he's basically an attacker at this point. But he's actually a very good fighting. He has a very good fighting chance against Roger and Odin, but more Roger since it's more Roger centered. Just because you're gonna have a lot of knockback, you have a lot of range with his basics. So that's something to know. But taking a look at his skills, his skill 1 is a little bit useless against Roger just because he does heal a portion. I'm not sure exactly how that trait works, but I know he heals via like attacks. And since this is a 10 consecutive hit, something to note. But the main thing, the main thing about it is obviously going to be the Nullify Stagger and putting the stagger field. So if the Roger doesn't know what he's doing, he's going to miss the perfect dodge, hit him with the skill 2 after the skill 1. But I don't advise using the skill 1. It's kind of like using the Black Mamba on a Blackbeard. You're just feeding into the skill. So it's kind of like that. But no, he's still a very good character. If you need to use Black Mamba, you can use it. It will kill the Roger, depending on how much health he has, of course. But the main thing to take away from Snake Man is, of course, going to be the long range basics, as well as the skill 2. Which is everybody's favorite skill in the game, the infamous King Cobra. And for the King Cobra, it's super quick. It has a ton of range. And I swear, every single time I get hit by it, it grows a little bit longer. So that's something to note. But it also has Nullify Stagger, so that's also a big thing. So you can combo cancel into it. Very good skill to combo cancel into. It has a lot of knockback. It reduces attack by 10%. So, you know, reducing Roger's attack. I'm not sure if that works on him. But that's something to note as well if it does. But the main thing is, of course, just trying to spam that skill as much as you can. Get enough space away from you, since his basics are a little bit short ranged. You can't power him with your 1-2s, and just running away. Kind of play like Sky Zoro back in that meta if you played at that time. You know, you do your 1-2s, dodge away, 1-2, dodge away. And just be a nuisance, to be completely honest. Another big thing also is that he also gets a lot of skill 2 cooldown via trade, I believe, as well as he does get the 25% heal per cap. So that's something to note as well, especially, so say if you're fighting Roger on his treasure, you hit him with the skill 2, he gets knocked back, cap the treasure, you get your 25% heal. So that's something to note as well. And then you also get 50% when you're in the enemy's treasure, so fighting Roger in his treasure is actually a little bit more beneficial to you, so you can spam that King Cobra as much as you can. That's something to note as well. You also nullify stagger when you're capping, so if he's trying to hit you with the basics, you let him hit you with the 1-2s, not going to knock you off of it, the third one will, so you can either dodge out of it or just take the hit. If anything, I'd probably just take the hit at that point, since it's not going to be doing as much damage as it would, but that's something to note as well. And also, you do resist stagger when your strength is over 100%, over 100%, and also you do have that 1 extra life, quote unquote, that is just 1 HP. So that's something to know as well. So you can actually tank the charge skill, the basically one-shot skill. So that's something to know as well. But yeah, Snake Man's actually a very, very good character to use. He has amazing knockback. His skill 2 is so good, and it's super quick. It's going to be doing a lot of damage after Roger, and you're just going to be kind of playing around with your food. But yeah, with that being said, let's hop on to the next unit. So going on to the next unit, of course, it's going to be my boy, also Hyou's boy. Shout out to that guy again. Mr. Will himself. We got Mr. Kawamatsu, Kappa the Kappa, whatever you want to call him. But he did release with the Odin batch, of course, everybody knows about that. And he's actually a very good matchup against Roger if you play him right. He's a little bit gimmicky. He's very, very interesting when it comes to his skill 2, just kind of being spammable. But taking a look at his skills, his skill 1, it's good to run away with. Damage is okay. I've hit like 5k or like 8k, and granted mine is 80, not boost to 6-star. So that's something to note as well. I don't know if you've seen my video on Kawamatsu, you can tell how much damage I'm doing. Not too much, but I do have a lot of survivability via the skill 2. Getting the 15%, come on team, enunciate. Now you get 15% heal per skill 2, each knockback that you hit, so you get a bunch of cooldown via knockback as well. I believe it's 50% per knockback, so if you hit 2 people, you get your skill 2 back instantly. So that's something you know, so you will get 50% if you are 1v1ing Roger, which is this quote-unquote scenario that I'm talking about. But he's actually a very good character. I also do consider him discounted as well, just because a lot of people did pull on the Odin banner, so a lot of people actually have him, they just don't use him. Same thing goes with Snake Man. Snake Man's been on a lot of banners. He's been on the Logia, I believe, no, not Logia, Paramecia banner, as well as the Sabo Ace banner that came out recently. Well, not too recently, but you know, a while back. And then with Law, of course, he's been on the free tickets as well, so that's something to note as well. All these units are fairly common, and a lot of people do have them, so that's something to note. But going back to Kawamatsu, you get a lot of skill and cooldown as well, so you can either use it to attack Roger, bait out the dodge, or just use it to run away. So if he's charging skill, turn around, use the skill 1, you're out of the danger zone. And just the main thing is spamming that skill 2, you're gonna be living a lot, especially he does get defense via trait, so that's something to note as well. Plus the 15 heal, and then if you're running the Kuma medal like I did in my video, that's 18% heal via each knockback, should I say. So say you're running even triple Kuma, that's 15% plus the 9% via the medal. You know, you're not gonna have tags, but you can also do that if you really wanted to for more survivability, so that's something to know as well. But yeah, Kawamatsu is actually a very good matchup since you're not gonna be dying too often, and he is a fairly tanky man himself, or frog thing, should I say, fishman, whatever the hell he is. But yeah, with that being said, let's hop into the next unit. So the next unit is of course the notorious, the infamous Red Sabo, Mr. He Can Spam himself. And Sabo is actually a very good matchup with him, especially being in the Mera state, or Flame, whatever you want to call it. I'll be calling it Mera just because it sounds a little bit better than Flame. But the main thing is, of course, spamming your Hikens with the Mera state is a big thing. Obviously, you know, it's casual Sabo 101. And the reason I also do put him on this list, being a little bit quote-unquote discount, is because, like I said with Snake Man, he is in a lot of banners. A little bit harder to pull, but he is in a lot of banners. Like he was in the Paramecia, no, I believe it is Logia. Yeah, he is a Logia, I believe. But he was in that Ace, Sabo, well, you know, Ace, him, and Snake Man banner as well, so that's something else to note as well. But yeah, he's fairly common. A lot of people do have him, and they are running him, and he is a very, very good character. Like, even taking a look at his Mera's state transformation, quote unquote, that I call it. It's more of a upgrade, I guess. I'm not exactly sure how do you say it, but I call it transformation, so I will be referring it to that as well. But looking at it, you gain status effect nullification. So, like, I don't know, say you're fighting like a Mags, the poison isn't an issue, so that's something to know. Or like Big Mom. But then in this case, you're talking about Roger, so that's a little bit useless. But you will have a lot of range. Speaking about like the Snake Man, being able to 1-2 just he can keep your range. And then whenever the Roger he starts dodging, you throw out the skill 2, the Flame Dragon King, or I forget what it's called actually. I know it started with a K, but I don't remember. But yeah, the Flame Dragon King, very, very good skill. It has pretty good knockback. It has a lot more knockback than people like think. So you can catch a lot of people off guard. That's the biggest thing with him. And you also nullify stagger with that skill. So it hits fairly hard. But of course, you're going to be running to run that Mera State metal set. So I'd recommend the Marco and Emperor Shanks set that I ran, courtesy to my boy Rishi. And I've seen a lot of other medals that even put like crit on him, because he did get, I think, 300% crit via, yeah, when your teammate's KO'd, you get 300% crit via trait. So that's for 20 seconds, so you can crit a lot, gear skill 1 up all the way, so that's something else to note. You can also run stuff like Wolf Metal, Rain Metal, if you're going to be going off those crits, so that's something else to note as well. But of course, you can also even be running the newer transfer traits for status elements. So there's like the Poison one, Flame, and I believe Freeze. So that's something to note as well. It's just you can also run a lot of status hitting, I guess, traits. But with that being said, let's go on to the next unit. So hopping on to the next unit, of course, I have Smoke Shigi. You might even be asking me, team, why do you have Smoke Shigi?
Pretty interesting.
She, he, they, whatever you want to call them, do more damage to Devil Fruit users. Instead, I say skill, I believe it's a skill 1. So this is a charge skill that actually has a high chance to crit. So you can run stuff like Wolf Metal to heal per crit. I believe it is heal, or like Rain to spam that skill as much as you can. Since it is kind of like CP9's finger skill, so you can constantly heal. You will be living a lot longer. Granted, it is a lower, I think it's like 3% heal, so that's something to know. Or you can also run a Shambles, I think it's like say, or Shambles, whatever you want to call it. Shambles Sanji, the Trap Sanji as I call it, for 1%, not as high, something to note. And also you can pair it with like the new Carpenter Metal as well as the Usohachi Metal to have high chance whenever you perfect dodge. So you perfect dodge Roger skill 1, and then you just hold that skill down, and you're going to be doing a lot of damage. And so Shigi's that character that actually a lot of people do have, and that they never use her, and I don't know why. I call her she. She's actually very, very freaking good when it comes to these type of like matchups, especially since she's not a Devil Fruit eater. So like against like Blackbeard, for example, she'll be doing pretty good. But with like Roger, you have type advantage. You're going to be critting a lot, healing. So overall, very, very good unit. Very common one. That's why she's actually down in the discount list. But even though I don't have her, we're not going to talk about that. But with that being said, let's head on to the number 1 spot. And before I go on to number 1, I do want to have a little bit of honorable mentions. Of course, it's going to be Green Mihawk. He's a little bit of a rare character, that's why I did not add him on this list. But he's a very, very good counter, as well as, you know, Green Katakuri. Don't have him, so I couldn't say. But he's also very good as well. Corona is also one of those characters that actually kind of shuts Roger down. But the issue being that she is blue and a little bit rare on the side. Just a bit. But the other quote-unquote rare character is also going to be Fujitora. Fujitora is actually, I've seen him tank a lot of damage since he is a tanky son of a bitch. But you could be putting Roger down on timeout. The only issue with him is that you're not going to be killing Roger. It's not really a counter. It's more of a I'm going to live more than you type scenario, which you'll see with another character that I'm going to talk about. So that's something to note as well. But yeah, Fujitora, very good choice. But you're not going to be killing him. He's not going to be killing you. Speaking about Undying, of course, you have V1 Big Mom. V1 Big Mom, tanky person. Shout out to that boy OPBR, the chef, or chef. with this tanky Big Mom set, basically taking like 2 damage against Rogers, and you're not gonna be taking damage, so the only issue is gonna be you're not gonna be killing him as well. You could, but you know, it's a little bit technical. Another one is gonna be Magellan. Shout out to that boy Hyou again for a spirit animal, but it's just you're not gonna be killing him either, and you are blue, which is gonna be a big issue. But yeah, that's for Magellan. For Aokiji or Kuzan, he's a little bit on the rare side. A lot of people don't have him, but he's also a very good choice. But I didn't want to add him here just because he's a little bit rare, since I don't really see him in League all too often. But yeah, we have a couple other more notable people, which includes Dressrosa Zoro. He is a current, quote-unquote current bounty fest that happened a couple of like months, I think like a month ago actually, or maybe weeks. But he's a very, very good choice, but he is rare as well. So a lot of people don't have him, so that's something to note as well. But he's a very, very good matchup as well. Shout out to that boy Naomasa as well. He does like destroy people with him. And speaking about destroying people, shout outs to my video with the Mace gameplay. Mace is a very good choice just because the shield does nullify the skills. Only issue is that you need to have the perfect set with HP and attack, so you can so Marco can actually tank some damage. But that's something to note as well. The skills actually don't go through, which is a very, very good thing about him. But once again, low damage. You're not going to be killing Roger, even though I did in my video. But granted, I did have a team boost in a couple of times, and Roger was basically dead. So that's something to know as well. He has low damage. The wall's going to be top tier though. And as well as the skill too, it's going to do pretty good damage. But you know, he's not exactly a counter in my eyes. And next on the list for the honorable mentions, of course, going to be CP0 Lucci, or Rob Lucci. With him, only issue that I have with him is one, he does get buffs, so he will be taking more damage from Roger. And two, a lot of people actually don't have him. But with that, for the number one spot, it's gonna be my boy, the myth, the man, the legend, Mr. Kobe himself, Chore Boy Kobe. Like, Kobe is the counter to every single unit. Like, he has, for Odin, he has knockback, and for Roger, he can knock him back. Nah, I'm just messing with y'all. Obviously, number one is gonna be, very, very unpopular opinion, my boy X Drake. Once again, shout out to the boy Hyou. He fucking hates X Drake with the passion. But going on X Drake, the reason I actually put him number one as the most like discount one is, even though he's a bounty fest, he's very, very old and he's been in a lot of banners, especially that banner that actually had him guaranteed. So a lot of people actually do have him if they went for those banners. So that's something to note. Plus he's actually pretty old, like I talked about. But looking at his Dino skill, disregards enemy's defense stat, so you're going to be doing a shit ton of damage with that skill, especially with the tail whip at the end. Only issue is that it is a little bit slower, but the main thing is of course going to be the skill 2, which is the cross cut that does fixed damage of 7k with level 5 skill. So that's something to note as well. That's why I put Drake so high up on this list, number one of course, with the discounts, just because he has fixed damage. He ignores defense. His basics are actually pretty good, in my opinion. You can move around pretty quickly, so if you want to get out of the chargeable skill 2 range, you can do that. And you can actually catch people off guard, and since it has Nullify Stagger, that's something else to note as well. But yeah, just looking at his traits, you're gonna get a shit ton of skill 1 cooldown when you kill people, 50% per kill when he's 5-star, so that's something to note as well. It's just Drake. I feel like Drake is a super slept on unit, and he's just so good when it comes to countering like Roger. He's so good. But with that being said, yeah, that's my quote unquote top 10 list of discount counters. And before I end the video, I also just wanted to thank everybody for, you know, giving me support, subbing to my channel, just liking all the dumb shit that I do. Shout out to that boy, your local meme dealer, or Hyou, whatever you want to call him. He knows I do that dumb shit, but I just want to thank everybody for, you know, subbing. So I kind of wanted to get this video out as soon as possible, depending on when this comes out, of course. And yeah, just thanks for everybody for giving me support on this like channel, and we'll see how far this goes and all the dumb shit that's yet to come, the streams and all that stuff, and everybody just supporting me in just every way. We have I don't know, people to list, like there's Hyou, Chef, all the cooks basically from my alliance, Meta, like there's so many people I can't really name. I've been having a shit ton of support, as well as IRL friends that have been helping me with this journey. So I just wanted to thank everybody for 100 subs, and I'll hope to see you guys in like 500 or so, maybe even 1,000, 1 million. We'll see how far this goes. So But yeah, with that being said, this is Team 3-Star. I'll be signing out. I will be having those other gameplays out as well. I'm not going to be stopping anytime soon. So I hope to see you guys in those videos. But with that being said, this is Team 3-Star, and I'll be signing out. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.